Believing that global politics is still entirely controlled by presidents, prime ministers, and parliaments is a comforting illusion for many. The visible stage flags waving in crowded streets, world leaders speaking confidently at summits, cameras capturing symbolic handshakes keeps alive the assumption that nation-states remain the driving force of global power. But behind this carefully choreographed performance lies a deeper truth. In the 21st century, real power belongs to those who rarely appear in public, who are not elected and not held accountable, but who can change the fate of millions with a single decision. States still exist, constitutions still matter, borders are still drawn, but the authority that once ruled the world has been quietly overtaken by a new class of global actors. These are the non-state powers of our era. Multinational corporations, financial giants, technology empires, organized influence networks. They operate across borders and above governments. Their first and most silent weapon is economic warfare. 1. Economic warfare. When money becomes a weapon, modern wars are not declared. They begin with a drop in currency value, a sudden withdrawal of capital, or a critical downgrade from financial institutions. Money has become a weapon capable of toppling governments without firing a single bullet. When the economy collapses, politics collapses. And when politics collapses, societies turn against themselves. Today, a single company can hold more wealth than dozens of independent nations. A global investment fund can destabilize several economies by announcing one short sentence: "We are pulling out." Financial markets are the new war zones, where interest rates function as missiles, exchange rates serve as trenches, and stock charts reveal the suffering of entire populations. We've seen the script before: the Asian financial crisis, Argentina's collapse, Greece's debt disaster. Different places, same result. Whoever controls capital controls governments. Economic dependency means political dependency. If a country must privatize its national assets, sell infrastructure to foreign investors, or completely reshape its laws to attract funding, then its sovereignty becomes symbolic. A nation that cannot protect the value of its currency cannot protect its future. And in this digital age, financial vulnerability is closer than ever. A single tweet from a tech billionaire can erase billions in market value. A rumor spreading through social media can disrupt entire industries within minutes. The enemy is no longer at the border. It is in every device we carry. Credit rating agencies act like global referees. Their letters AA or Junkin decide whether a nation sinks or survives. No democratic vote, no accountability, yet the consequences: unemployment, poverty, crisis. Energy dependence is another invisible chain. The moment natural gas stops flowing, political positions shift. Independence now lasts only as long as a country can pay its energy bills. Economic warfare does not leave physical scars. It leaves silent devastation: lost jobs, closed factories, growing debts, broken families. People call it a crisis, but the truth is often a strategic attack. And once the economy weakens, the second phase begins: the occupation of perception. To information warfare, conquering minds without a fight. In the past, to control a nation, armies had to occupy streets and buildings. Today, to control a nation, one only needs to influence what its people believe. Algorithms shape what we watch, what we think about, what we fear, what we desire, and whom we blame. People feel informed, but they are being steered. They feel connected, but they are being monitored. They feel free, but the choices have already been made for them. Social media feeds are not windows to reality. They are curated filters designed to guide emotions and opinions. A story hidden is a truth erased. A lie repeated becomes a belief. Cambridge Analytica proved that elections can be won long before voters reach the ballot box. Targeted data turned psychology into political ammunition. Democracy still has ballots, but someone else is shaping the decision behind each ballot. Media conglomerates, Disney, Comcast, News Corp, and others shape global narratives. They decide who is a hero and who is a tyrant, which conflict is labeled liberation and which is labeled invasion. Their headlines become the world's memory. Social movements that once started in public squares now begin with hashtags. Massive crowds can be mobilized or neutralized by those who know how to press the right emotional buttons. Short-form content is shaping a generation that expects fast conclusions and minimal thinking. When attention spans shrink, critical thinking fades. A society that cannot think deeply cannot defend itself deeply. Artificial intelligence pushes manipulation even further. Deepfakes fabricate speeches and actions that never happened. Bot armies amplify rumors until they dominate the truth. Lies spread faster than facts, and the longer confusion lasts, the easier a nation becomes to control. Censorship today does not silence people. Silence is what people see. When the truth becomes uncertain, everything becomes controllable. And once minds are confused, the third and final weapon arrives, attacking the security of the state itself. 3. Security warfare. Defeating a nation before the war begins. A country may still have a strong army, yet lose a war without even understanding how it happened. Cyberattacks can paralyze a nation's infrastructure in seconds. Banking systems freeze. Airports stop. Electricity networks shut down. The first blows of the Russia-Ukraine conflict were not fired by tanks but by hackers. In the modern world, protecting territory also requires protecting servers, satellites, code, and data. Private military companies like Wagner operate without flags, without accountability, and without limits. They change governments, seize natural resources, and extend influence while states look on with limited control. Terror and organized crime also contribute to internal collapse. When criminals infiltrate institutions, the state's authority erodes from within. The most destructive force against a nation is often internal division. A polarized society cannot unite to defend itself. Citizens who no longer trust each other cannot trust the institutions meant to protect them. Public cohesion is not a luxury, it is national security. Governments facing digital threats increasingly depend on private technology firms for defense. The responsibility remains with the state, but the capability lies in corporations. And when the tools of national security are not under national control, sovereignty weakens dangerously. A nation can be defeated without war. A population can surrender without realizing. A society can be conquered without ever seeing the enemy. The new definition of sovereignty. The new world order is not defined by geographical borders. It is defined by control over money, information, and technology. A strong military cannot protect a nation whose citizens no longer share the same truth. A wealthy economy cannot protect a nation that cannot make its own decisions. A proud flag cannot protect a nation whose future is planned by others. And that brings us to the key question. How can nations survive this silent takeover? The answer lies in a new definition of sovereignty: economic independence, technological capability, and cognitive resilience. A nation must protect its wallet, its mind, and its digital identity. It must secure its information networks, produce its own technologies, and ensure that perception and reality are not shaped by outside powers. True power now requires the ability to create truth, secure systems, protect identity, and maintain unity when it matters most. Sovereignty is not something gained once, it is a struggle. It is earned every day. Independence is not a celebration, it is a constant defense. The silent war is everywhere, evolving, expanding, invisible. It does not pause, it does not warn, it does not need permission. Those who ignore it will become supporting characters in someone else's story. But those who recognize it and resist will write their own future. Every generation believes its greatest struggles belong to the past, that the world has finally reached stability, that the battles have already been fought, and that history now moves in predictable lines. But history is never satisfied. Power does not sleep. And the greatest turning points always arrive quietly, while most people are busy with their everyday lives. Today's battle is no longer about conquering lands or raising new flags. It is about conquering decisions, manipulating beliefs, and rewriting the future without anyone noticing. The walls of control are not made of concrete anymore, they are built from narratives, data, and dependency. Nations do not collapse when an enemy marches in. They collapse when they stop paying attention. Societies do not lose freedom in a single moment. They lose it piece by piece, rule by rule, distraction by distraction. And people lose themselves when they forget to ask the most important question: who is really in charge here? Yet, despite all the silence, despite all the invisible pressure, there is still a defense stronger than any digital fortress. The most powerful weapon is not money, not media, not advanced technology, it is awareness. It is the refusal to accept someone else's version of the truth. It is the courage to question narratives, to protect independence, and to stay united when everything is designed to divide. A nation that understands the threat can resist it. A society that protects truth cannot be deceived. A generation that refuses manipulation cannot be controlled. And a people who stand together, truly together, cannot be conquered. The future of the world is not finished. The final pages have not been written. But right now, powerful hands are trying to write them for us. So the real question becomes, will we silently watch as the script of our future is drafted elsewhere? Or will we take back the pen and become the authors of our own destiny? Stay aware, stay awake, think deeper than the headlines, look beyond the screen, and never surrender what makes a nation free: its sovereignty, its truth, its people.